My child, few things test the heart like delay. Not dramatic loss, not obvious failure. Delay. Delay is difficult because it does not always give you a clear category for your pain. If something fully ends, you grieve it. If something clearly succeeds, you celebrate it. But delay leaves you standing in the uncomfortable middle where hope still exists, effort still matters, prayer still rises, but the visible answer does not arrive when your emotions expected it to. That middle can feel exhausting. You do not know whether to rest or push. You do not know whether to keep expecting or to lower your expectations. You do not know how long to hold the door open in your imagination. You do not know what story to tell yourself when the thing you believed in remains possible, but slow. That is what makes delay so spiritually revealing. It exposes what your heart has been leaning on. It reveals whether your peace was built on God Himself or on the speed of visible results. It reveals whether your identity can survive without constant progress. It reveals whether your trust is spacious enough to breathe when your timeline is interrupted. It reveals whether your inner life knows how to remain whole when life refuses to move according to your preferred pace. This is why I am speaking to you now, because you have been tempted to interpret the delay in the smallest possible way. You have called it inconvenience. You have called it disappointment. You have called it obstruction. You have called it proof that something must be wrong. But there are delays that do not come to punish you. There are delays that come to prepare you to carry what you asked for without losing yourself when it finally arrives. My child, many people pray for blessing while remaining unprepared for its pressure. They ask for visibility, but not for the humility that visibility requires. They ask for relationships, but not for the healed inner life needed to receive love cleanly. They ask for open doors, but not for the discernment needed to walk through them without becoming scattered. They ask for increase, but not for the maturity required to keep increase from inflating the ego, confusing priorities, or draining peace. Blessing is beautiful. Blessing can also be heavy. Not heavy in the sense of being bad, heavy in the sense of carrying responsibility, exposure, decisions, expectations, influence, emotional consequences, and spiritual weight that smaller seasons never demanded. And if the heart is not strengthened first, what looked like an answer can quickly become a burden. That is why delay is sometimes mercy in work clothes. It does not look tender at first. It looks frustrating. It feels like lost momentum. It makes you compare. It makes you question timing. It exposes impatience you did not know was living in you. It brings up thoughts like, maybe I am behind. Maybe others are passing me. Maybe life is not moving. Maybe I am being overlooked. But underneath all that emotional noise, another process is happening. I am teaching you how to carry future weight without collapsing under it. I am teaching you how to remain yourself when the answer comes. I am teaching you how not to build your identity around the thing you desire. I am teaching you how to receive blessing without becoming controlled by it. I am teaching you how to walk into answered prayer with a soul that is still free. That matters more than you realize. There are people who receive the very thing they cried for and then slowly disappear inside it. Their peace changes. Their motives shift. Their boundaries weaken. Their sense of self becomes tangled in maintaining what they received. Their prayer life becomes more performative. Their inner life becomes smaller, even as their visible life becomes larger. They confuse increase with health and momentum with maturity. I do not want that for you. So when I delay, I am often not only guarding the blessing, I am guarding you inside the blessing. The part of you that still needs to know how to rest. The part of you that still gets seduced by urgency. The part of you that still feels validated by being needed. The part of you that still seeks visible results as proof of worth. The part of you that still struggles to let peace exist before outcomes become measurable. These things may sound subtle. They are not small. A life can look beautifully answered on the outside while becoming inwardly fragile because the heart was never prepared for the pressure that answer would bring. What you are asking for may involve more complexity than you currently see, more responsibility, more emotional demand, more stewardship, more attention, more expectations from others, more need for discernment, more need for internal boundaries, more need for a stable center that does not rise and fall with every visible change. This is what delay can build if you let it. Substance. Substance is what remains when novelty fades. Substance is what steadies you when the blessing becomes daily, ordinary, and demanding. Substance is what keeps you from making an idol of the answer. Substance is what lets you enjoy good things without worshiping them. Substance is what allows you to remain clear, grounded, and spiritually awake after the door opens. Do you know how many people are prepared for breakthrough emotionally, but not structurally? They are excited enough to receive it. They are not formed enough to sustain it. Excitement can get you through an opening. Only formation can help you carry what follows. That is why your delay is not meaningless. It is training. Training in patience. Training in hidden faithfulness. Training in emotional sobriety. Training in not letting your imagination get drunk on one outcome. Training in how to remain anchored when visible progress is slow. Training in how to become the same person in quiet seasons that you hope to be in visible ones. My child, let me tell you something that may challenge you. Sometimes what you call waiting is actually the classroom where your deeper character is being shaped. A classroom is rarely glamorous. It does not look like arrival. It often feels repetitive. There are lessons you wish you could skip. There are areas where you are corrected. There are days where the progress seems small. But classrooms matter because they prepare you for rooms you cannot enter wisely yet. Your current season is full of lessons. One lesson is that pace is not the same as purpose. Things can move quickly and still be wrong. Things can move slowly and still be deeply aligned. Do not assume that speed means favor, or that slowness means absence. Another lesson is that desire must be purified. Not every version of your desire is clean yet. Sometimes what you want is right, but the way you want it is tangled with fear, ego, urgency, loneliness, comparison, or the need to prove something. Delay gives your motives room to become more honest. Another lesson is stewardship. What you receive later may require a version of you that can manage pressure without becoming frantic, manage opportunity without becoming proud, manage attention without losing privacy with God, manage responsibility without abandoning rest, and manage increase without confusing productivity with worth. These are not side lessons, they are central. Delay also teaches you what kind of person you are when nobody can reward you yet. That matters because many people imagine they are faithful simply because they remain enthusiastic while visible movement exists. But hidden faithfulness is different. Hidden faithfulness continues when there is no applause, no quick confirmation, no immediate fruit, and no public proof that the seed is worth protecting. Hidden faithfulness is one of the clearest indicators of depth. I have been growing that depth in you. And depth is expensive. It usually costs speed. It usually costs simple explanations. It usually costs the comfort of living only by what you can immediately measure. But depth will save you later. Depth will save you when the answer comes and the excitement wears off. Depth will save you when people project expectations onto your blessing. Depth will save you when maintenance becomes more important than momentum. Depth will save you when success tempts you to drift. Depth will save you when pressure increases and you need more than emotion to stay steady. You are being built for that. This is why the enemy tries so hard to define delay as humiliation. He wants you to resent the very process that is strengthening your foundation. He wants you to compare, hurry, force, and compromise, because an unformed answer is easier to distort than a prepared one. He wants you to believe that if you are not moving as fast as others, you must be less favored. He wants your trust tied to visible pace, because then your peace becomes easy to manipulate. Refuse that lie. Your life is not a race against other people's timelines. Their speed cannot interpret your assignment. Their public movement cannot measure your private preparation. Their visible milestones do not define the weight your own calling may eventually require. If the thing I am preparing for you must rest on stronger beams, then stronger beams will take time, and stronger beams are worth it. Imagine a builder who rushes a house because the owner is impatient. From a distance, it may look impressive quickly, but later, the hidden weaknesses begin to show. Pressure exposes what haste ignored. The structure groans under weight it should have been prepared for. Repair becomes more painful because what should have been strengthened early was skipped in the name of speed. I do not build your life like that. I do not rush because emotion is loud. I do not accelerate simply because comparison is painful. I do not abandon craftsmanship because impatience has become persuasive. I build with wisdom, and wisdom is often slower than ego prefers. My child, delay has also been showing you what you cannot take with you into the answer. You cannot take frantic striving. You cannot take the addiction to constant validation. You cannot take the need for every step to be obvious. You cannot take comparison as your measuring stick. You cannot take emotional dependence on outcomes. You cannot take shallow prayer that only survives while progress is visible. You cannot take hidden pride that secretly believes arriving fast makes you more valuable. These things have to be addressed now, because blessing magnifies what is already living in a person. If peace is weak now, pressure can expose it later. If motives are mixed now, visibility can enlarge the confusion later. If boundaries are fragile now, opportunity can scatter you later. If identity is attached to outcomes now, answered prayer can become its own kind of bondage later. I am saving you from that by slowing some things down. Do not call that cruelty. Call it care. Care is not always comfortable. Sometimes care says wait. Sometimes care says not yet. Sometimes care removes momentum so your soul can catch up with what your desire is demanding. Sometimes care allows hidden work to continue until the inside of you is strong enough for the outside answer. And yes, there are days when this feels hard. Days when you are tired of learning. Days when you are tired of hidden progress. Days when you want movement, not another lesson. Days when you want clarity, not more endurance. Days when you wonder why one thing that feels so right should take so long to emerge. Those feelings are real. bring them to me honestly, but do not let them become your theology. One hard day does not mean delay has no purpose. One frustrating week does not mean your life is off course. One painful comparison does not mean you are truly behind. One slow season does not mean I have forgotten the prayers you prayed with tears. I remember. I see. I am not late. And more importantly, I am not careless with your future. Part of carrying blessing without losing yourself is learning that you do not need to become someone else in order to be ready. You do not need to become louder, harsher, faster, more frantic, more image-driven, or more externally impressive. You need to become truer, truer in motive, truer in trust, truer in obedience, truer in peace, truer in the way you hold desire without letting desire dominate you. That truthfulness is being formed in the delay, because delay strips away performance. Eventually you get too tired to keep acting like everything is easy. Eventually your prayers become more honest. Eventually your motives become easier to examine. Eventually your soul stops negotiating with surface-level faith and begins hungering for something steadier and cleaner. This is a holy turning point. A person who has been deepened by delay can receive far more cleanly than a person who only knows how to chase. A person who has learned hidden contentment can carry visible blessing without becoming consumed by it. A person who has practiced trust in ordinary quiet days can withstand the emotional instability that often follows major change. That is why some of your greatest preparation has looked unimpressive. It was still essential. The ordinary obedience, the private surrender, the choosing not to force, the decision not to compromise, the repeated return to peace, the way you kept showing up without public proof, the slow detox from comparison, the refining of your reasons, the strengthening of your boundaries, the healing of your identity. All of that is part of carrying the blessing. Because the blessing is not just the thing itself. The blessing is also the condition of the soul that receives it. A gift can become a burden in the wrong hands. A door can become pressure in an unprepared heart. A relationship can become confusion in a person who still needs inner healing. Opportunity can become idolatry in someone who still reads worth through outcomes. I do not want your answer to own you. I want your answer to fit you. And fit matters. What fits is what can be carried without violating your peace. What fits is what can be stewarded without destroying your interior life. What fits is what can grow without demanding that you abandon your soul. What fits is what aligns with the deeper work my spirit has been doing in you. That is the future I am preparing. So stop insulting the delay as though it has no intelligence. Stop cursing the slowness as though it means the story has stalled. Stop measuring the season only by what has not arrived. Look again. Are you more honest than you were a year ago? More discerning? Less driven by appearances? More aware of what steals your peace? More willing to release what does not carry grace? More able to pause before reacting? More rooted in prayer than in panic? More interested in what is true than in what is merely fast? That is not nothing. That is preparation becoming visible in the soul. And that visible soul work matters because when the blessing finally comes, you will need the very strength that is being formed now. You will need a deeper center. You will need patience inside momentum. You will need humility inside answered prayer. You will need discernment inside opportunity. You will need rest inside responsibility. You will need freedom inside increase. Delay has been teaching you all of that. So let the process finish its work. Do not abandon the classroom because the hallway looks glamorous from far away. Do not run ahead just to escape the discomfort of being formed. Do not let your hunger for arrival make you careless with your foundation. What is coming is worth carrying well. Let me pray for you. Father, for the one listening who is tired of delay, bring fresh understanding. Where slowness has felt like punishment, reveal your care. Where comparison has weakened peace, restore clarity. Where impatience has tangled desire, purify the heart. Build in them the substance needed to carry future blessing without losing simplicity, humility, rest, or obedience. Strengthen hidden faithfulness, mature motives, steady emotions, deepen trust. And let this season become the foundation of a life that can receive with clean hands and sustain with a healthy soul. In Jesus' name, amen. My child, this delay is not empty. It is not random. It is not proof that your story has been forgotten. It is teaching you how to carry what you asked for without losing yourself when it finally arrives. And when the day comes, you will understand why I cared more about your formation than your impatience.